one of Twitter CEO Elon Musk's interview with Tucker Carlson aired last night. Carlson pressed the chief twit about his takeover of Twitter and axing nearly 80% of its original staff. Here's his explanation.
Turns out you don't need all that many people to run Twitter.
But 80%? That's a lot.
Yes. If you're not trying to run some sort of glorified activist organization and you're not care that much about censorship, then you can really let go of a lot of people, it turns out. The real question is, how did it get so absurdly overstaffed? This is insane. So anyway, and it's clearly working. In fact, I think it's working better than ever.
Musk also weighed in on ongoing debates surrounding artificial intelligence and AI chatbots. He indicated he was open to launching an alternative to ChaptGPT that isn't, quote, politically correct. Here's a little of that exchange.
I'll try to create a third option, and that third option hopefully does more good than harm. The intention with OpenAI was obviously to do good, but it's not clear whether it's actually doing good or whether it's I can't tell at this point, except that I'm worried about the fact that it's being trained to be politically correct, which is simply another way of being saying untruthful things.
Yes.
So that's a bad sign. There's certainly a path to AI dystopia is to train an AI to be deceptive. So yeah, I'm going to start something which you could call TRUTHGPT, or a maximum truth-seeking AI that tries to understand the nature of the universe. And I think this might be the best path to safety, in the sense that an AI that cares about understanding the universe it is unlikely to annihilate humans, because we are an interesting part of the universe.
Musk has long openly speculated about the potential dangers associated with alternative intelligence. After co-founding, OpenAI in 2015, Musk left the company's board of directors and waged an open war with his former business partners, maintaining that he left because he, quote, didn't agree with where the company was heading. So, very interesting interview. I guess we'll start with the first part. Look, of all the things Musk has done, some of them I like. I like the Twitter files. I like the transparency. I'm regretful that it's not ongoing. I don't like some of the arbitrary moderation decisions he seems to be making on the fly while himself tweeting. I will say it does seem to be the case, although I think some elements of Twitter are not as good as they were before. Honestly, the recommendations, all that kind of stuff was degrading even before he took over. I take his point and would not say that, Twitter is falling apart. It can't. He has shown that you did not need the massive number of staff members they had, is what I would say.
True. So I think that in terms of, is the site up and running and functional? Obviously it is. The question is, I think a lot of the fired employees have been making the case for certain other aspects of the website not working properly. People have made comments about whether it's an algorithmic change or some kind of moderation change that's affected their feeds in a way that gives them less of the information they usually like to see. It's feeding them more information from high-profile accounts, like seeing a lot of Elon Musk, frankly, on Twitter, and it's not
but that's
clear.
What he wants.
Well, sure, that's what Musk wants.
He's tweaked it to have them see more of Elon Musk.
But does that make Twitter better? Well, and is he accurate when he says that Twitter is actually functioning if there are these kind of experiences that are making people enjoy the site?
I think he has shown that Twitter and probably a lot of other tech companies are ludicrously overstaffed, with a lot of employees who aren't contributing very much, including very senior people, or who's only at Twitter, their senior counsel person who was a former FBI agent, whose role seemed to be to filter law enforcement's agenda into the company.
Now, right now, it is true that there are fewer people, and it is also true that folks that are making inquiries to Twitter are getting responses in the form of poop emojis.
Right.
So
again, that is also deliberate, though.
If you think that the only people asking Twitter questions are people who are the deep state trying to get into your DMs, then you're happy they get a poop emoji. If you think there are also legitimate customer service concerns that people have, folks getting locked out of accounts, folks who continue to believe they're being shadow banned, folks who've had their accounts taken over. This happened to Katie Halper just a couple weeks ago, and she was unable to get a response. Then you think, well, maybe it would be nice to have a couple more staffers on to take the reins. What I will say about this is that regardless of whether or not you believe the staff were necessary, it's not clear to me that firing those staff have had the effect of saving Twitter enough money and put Twitter in a better financial position than it was in before. In his interview with the BBC journalist last week, he acknowledged that Twitter is just breaking even. He said, we could be profitable, or to be more precise, cash flow positive this quarter if things keep going well. I think almost all advertisers have come back or said they are going to come back. So that's Musk alluding to the fact that because of his behavior on the app, lack of confidence in advertisers, a perception, whether or not it's real, that there is more hateful content on the app, that advertisers have fled, and that advertisers historically were the biggest
a perception that BBC reporter totally failed to demonstrate or summon evidence of when questioned about it.
So the BBC's reporter is annoying, but I think that what people missed out of that interview was that Musk's answers also weren't good on these kinds of issues. The financials of Twitter are not in dispute. It's not actually doing well. And it's because he has made this choice to switch from the advertiser model to a subscription model, which is not paying off, with high-profile people like, not just NPR, but LeBron James and others saying that absolutely under no circumstances are they going to pay for the service. And Musk seems to not understand why that is.
So it has not paid off yet, I agree. People are saying they're not going to subscribe, but also people like that always say, I'm also going to quit Twitter, and then they never do. So what people say and what people actually do, not necessarily the same thing. But it's not. They might package this subscription model in a way that makes it more appealing. I think they have failed to do that thus far. I don't know that means they'll always fail to do it.
Well, the question, again, the number of subscribers that you'd have to get to make up for the advertising value that they've lost. The math just isn't mathing, as the kids say. I'm a subscriber. I find there to be value in subscribing to Twitter.
I'm not a subscriber.
I was a subscriber.
No one has explained to me what the value is.
Wait a minute. I'm going to. I was a subscriber long before Twitter, that Elon Musk took over and all of this, because I'm a content creator. I need to be able to post longer videos for my podcast. I enjoy being able to see some of the more algorithmic things behind the scenes and know what my content is doing. But you cannot expect LeBron James. You cannot expect other people to want to pay for that same service. So I think that he fundamentally understands the use of Twitter, and he fundamentally misunderstands that people like LeBron James, these huge accounts, people are on Twitter to see what he has to say, to see what Cardi B has to say, to see what Donald Trump has to say, who hasn't come back, by the way, which might be a little bit of an issue for Elon Musk.
Well, I think it's because he's contractually obligated to be on Truth Social.
Right, but he is making that kind of choice. In Elon Musk, we just saw him try to
but it wasn't Elon Musk who got rid of Donald Trump.
No, I know, but it's Elon Musk who let him back on, and Donald Trump doesn't see the value of coming back. We just saw Elon Musk try to strong-arm Matt Taibbi into giving up Substack and start to post basically longer form content on Twitter. And the irony is that Elon Musk seems to have feuded with Taibbi over this idea that Taibbi is using this new notes feature in Substack, which is a competitor to Twitter, and that is somehow unacceptable. At the same time that Twitter is very much trying to move into the long form game by increasing part of my Twitter Blue possibilities now is that it increases the number of characters that you can use, so I can write as much as I want basically in a tweet. And so why is it okay for Twitter to compete with Substack but not Substack to compete with Twitter? I think that fundamentally he is missing what the value of Twitter is, which is that normal people can engage with famous people on the app. So then asking the famous people who are creating all the value on the site to pay $12 a month instead of you realizing that it's the advertisers that are there because the people that are there, because the famous people are there, is why things are going awry for him.
I've started using Substack Notes more, given the instability on Twitter. And a function that it has that I really quite like is you can highlight a section from a Substack post, and then it will sort of prompt you to essentially tweet the Substack post or quote tweet it, what we call quote tweets. But it will prominently feature the section you highlighted. So instead of, what we do now on Twitter, we take a screen, you open the article, you take a screenshot, screen grab on your computer of that part, and then you post it as an image. So Substack has facilitated, you can actually just get the quote, and it looks pretty, it's blown up, it's higher, because sometimes with the image you have to click it to even see what it is. So it's very cool. I like this function tremendously.
I think it's good that Substack is trying to improve user experience. I don't think Elon is improving user experience. So if you're firing a bunch of people, those people had lives and jobs. He's not a job creation program. Billionaires like to say.
It's not a job creation program. It's a company.
So like I said, it's not a job creation program, but billionaires often like to brag about being job creators, but never mind. When he was asked about it in the BBC interview, and I would have liked to see more follow-up from Tucker Carlson here, one, he didn't justify that the firing actually created the balance sheet gains that he had hoped. And two, when he was asked about, why he didn't fire people in person, why so many people were unclear if they had even been fired, it felt like a free-for-all.
Well, he also says a lot of the people stepped away voluntarily. He did not
but I'm
fire
talking about the people who were
company.
fired. He fired thousands and thousands of people by his own admission right there in that clip. So the question is, why was it such chaos? Why did people not even know that they were being let go? And Elon argued that it was like a sinking ship and that the whole company was going to go down if he didn't fire people immediately. And the BBC journalist, James Clayton, I believe his name was, asked, well, you're a man with billions of dollars of worth. You're acting like there's an exigent situation, like the lights are going to get turned off if you don't fire in this X, Y, and Z person's salary. Is that really appropriate? And I think Elon Musk's responses there, again, didn't seem to be able to match up the behavior and the choice from a financial perspective to how he carried it out and what the benefits were.
He should pour his own money into the company instead of letting go people he doesn't think are contributing to it?
Just admit we're firing them. I don't care. But he's tried to cage the choice as a humanitarian effort to save the rest of the people at Twitter, which I think was a lot of people perceived as rather dishonest. So again, the fundamental question is he making choices that actually improve the financial viability of Twitter, the user experience of Twitter, and the jury's still out on both of those.
Before we wrap, what do you think about ChaptGPT being too politically correct? Have you noticed that?
If Elon Musk wants to, I don't use ChaptGPT. I'm not a high school student trying to cheat on an exam or someone who finds writing difficult.
Or a New York Times reporter trying to spook all your readers about how ChaptGPT is going to know how to kidnap your wife or something.
Yeah,
which is what all the tech people are doing now. Like, oh, it knows how to organize it. Do you see my favorite one was that it knows how to organize a death camp. Like in the same sense that Wikipedia knows how to organize a death camp because you can Google, Nazi concentration camps. It's like an encyclopedia is not a dangerous instruction manual. It's a piece of knowledge. It's not.
It's pulling from the internet. It's pulling from what's already there. So
it's learning on the. It's just so silly.
It's fun to think about and talk about. I want Elon Musk to be more focused on changing the Tesla door so that people with longer fingernails can get into the car, and making Twitter actually the free speech, easy using place that people.
Doors don't open they open like normal doors.
No, it's the door handle. You have to push in the door handle.
Oh.
You can't just grab it.
Yeah, that's rough. Real rough stuff. More Rising right after this.